Hello and welcome along to another episode and the start of a brand new season from its FM21 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's part 50 and we bring up the half century in style. Our first full season in England starts with a transfer special from our director of football, and we go away to Salford, a side that are newly promoted to the Championship in this save, and of course a side we manage with success and distinction in FM20's edition of The Head Coach. So if you're looking forward to all of that, to seeing what our Director of Football's done, of course a couple of little hints dotted around this home screen here. Please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM21 content from two long-term stories. And no matter how much you've been following the other Builder Nation save with Bangor City, please make sure you watch tomorrow's. It's going to be an absolute cracker. So I hope to see you there as well. A brilliant couple of days on the channel. I'm loving both saves at the moment. And I'm glad that you're still watching in your numbers and still seem to be enjoying it too. Thank you so much for your incredible support. You can catch up with all the playlists in the eye above, as well as the live stream series and the podcast channel full of championship content. But let's go and get into our transfer special with Derby. See exactly what's been going on and off the pitch. And let's start with the staffing, because we've managed to bring in a couple of staff this summer. Our director of football expanding the team, but we did lose one key coach in Liam Rossinia, who was taken by Tranmere, where he steps up to be the number one. Has been a fantastic help to us, has been a brilliant model professional, and was of course caretaker before we took over. So we wish him all the best. We hope he does well at Tranmere, an excellent club, and it looks like Mark Palios has chosen well again. But on to the ins, we've got lots to talk about. Firstly, Matt Neal joins as a new scout, who's got an excellent judgment of potential at a very young age and a lot of knowledge across Eastern and Central Europe, which we'll keep our eyes peeled for. Maybe some new signings from new areas. Ian Cathro has joined as a coach, did become a very young manager at Hearts a few years ago, has since coached Wolves and is now here at Derby. Brilliant technical coach, very good mentally. And let's be fair, it made me feel old when I saw he was still in his 30s. So Ian Cathro joins us, a Scottish coach and an excellent reputation as a good coach too. Into the new season, Peter Wilding joined as a scout from Stoke. They paid compensation for him, but again, good knowledge, good ability judgment. We can't ask for much more. The director of football has done very well on that front. An excellent recruitment analyst in Ashley Loft as well. I hope he'll improve the ratification for new signings if nothing else. But 4 good staff joining, 1 good one leaving. Overall, not a bad summer. But if we start with the transfers, we'll go back to the end of last season to get the first few that are normally missed off for some reason. No real players getting released from the first team, but 2 players did leave the club in June. Adam Reach went to Falkirk for 5.75 grand. I think he was out of contract the end of the season anyway, so to get any money was a positive. However, the club paid 5 million for him, which turned out to be a bit of a waste. Dominic Hyam, the 4th choice centre-half, was sold on. I think he was unhappy anyway, if I remember rightly. So the director of football probably just doing what he asked. 675 grand, not a bad feat for someone who made 1 appearance since we joined the club. He certainly wasn't in the first team picture. In terms of ins though, we did have a couple coming in during the early stages of the window. Youngster Eric Backhouse joined from Barrow. I think he's gone out on loan, has he? No, he's in the reserves, he's on the loan list. But he's not yet left the club. He's training okay, but I'm not sure he's going to make it. We get a few of those for some reason. It's almost like they just want to fill the under-23 squad. Ben Wilmot, though, was a brilliant signing. For a third of the price of Dominic Hyam, we have got a better centre-half. 235 grand for an Irish international, 3.5-star ability, 4-star potential, ball-playing centre-half. Brilliant signing. Absolutely stunning. Can cover in the holding role, has got all the attributes, and is a real measured centre-back. We'd like him to stop diving into tackles. I'm not sure we'll manage that. But otherwise, we couldn't ask for more. Has played for Rangers, Watford, Swansea. A plethora of experience at this level. Played for Udinese as well, has a real good pedigree. And Ben Wilmot is going to be a starting centre-half for us. I've no doubt about that. But as we moved into the new season, as things took over, loads of players going out the club. Mostly on loan, it has to be said. And many of them ones who signed during the summer. But let's talk about the 3 big deals going out of the club. Carl Darlow was first, another one who was unhappy, the 34-year-old Welsh keeper. Fell down the pecking order behind Bulka, and he's gone to Almeria for 900,000. They're paying his wages as well, so not a bad deal whatsoever. A good keeper, a decent servant for Derby, but not worth the money. I presume they made a loss on him. They did, they halved their money. But why sign a backup 33-year-old keeper for £2 million? I don't get it. Caldalo on his way out the club. The big deal was Jonathan Lecco. Lots of injury problems halting a very good player's career. So in the end, I could kind of see why the director of football did it. Derby signed him a year earlier for exactly the same price, and they got the chance to make their money back, which wouldn't have come later down the line. At 26 years of age, he's a handy player. He's natural in all three attacking roles. But for 7.25 million, potentially rising to 10, to newly promoted Premier League Millwall, it made perfect sense. And the final one is a loan deal of the three. Jordan Brown to Preston, 41.5 grand the loan fee. They're paying all the wages as well. Just a solid player. He came through the academy, 2.5-star ability. But the director of football has signed 2 more right backs on top of the one we already had in Matty Cash. He signed another 2 midfielders, and he sort of made him redundant. So when the loan offer came in, we sort of expected it to be accepted. The first one wasn't, it's got to be said, but then Preston came back with a better offer. So he negotiated well, he got the best deal, and Jordan Brown gets a season of Championship football. But that's the boring bit out the way. You don't want to see all the outs, you want to see the ins. The director of football's been busy. I will temper expectations. Over half of these are youngsters. They're not quality players that are going to affect the squad. There's probably only 4 or 5 of those. 4, I think, from looking at the list there. 5 if you include Wilmot. What I am a bit concerned about is the fact that Lecco's gone, Guidetti went in January, also Kiefer Moore went, and we haven't signed a striker. So we're very light up front if Callum Morton gets a knock. But for now, we can celebrate the ins. Second one of the window after Wilmot was Almami Traore. He joins for £2.3 million, a brilliant deal. 29-year-old Malian international, 3.5-star ability. Just a really solid player. Experience at Atalanta, at Frankfurt, at Angus. Has played in France, Italy and Germany's top tiers. Played for Monaco where he came through as a youngster. Is a quality player. A good addition and will fight it out with Matty Cash at the back. Can also cover centre-half if we need it. Mel Moon is a youngster who joined from Millwall. Not sure he's going to make it. 2-star ability. He's gone out on loan to Bath in the National League. Joey Marshall was an interesting one. A loan fee similar to Jordan Brown actually. And a really good centre midfielder. 3-star ability, 5-star potential, natural box-to-box, driven personality, likes to get forward. It's got all the attributes I like in a player. Sort of reminds me of a better version of Ian Brooks, who we've got at Bangor City in the other series. So I'm looking forward to working with him. I feel like he might be a star. I don't know that he's going to start the season as first choice, but I've got a feeling he might sneak his way in. We're only paying £8 grand a week in wages, so it's been a fairly reserved window in terms of spending. We've actually made a profit despite the 50 million budget. But the director of football signed him well. No one said it had to be expensive. Charlie Warman was a youngster who came in, not very good, centre-half at 20 years of age. But the next big one is Sam Johnston. The man we came up against in the playoff semi-final last year, 32-year-old goalkeeper, better than Bulker, natural starter straight away. Loads of experience for Villa, West Brom and Crystal Palace, his last club. And he comes in to replace Caldalo, knock Bulker down to the bench, and he's going to be crucial. A little bit of defensive experience in getting us over the line. Him and Torre could be massive signings. Next up, Ethan Healy, a youngster coming in from Sligo Rovers. A striker who can't finish, an okay target man. Not the best signing in the world. But the next one is possibly the most deceptive one. And that's Dante Casanova from Tottenham. He looks like one of those youngsters at 160 grand. But actually, he's a very good young right back. 3-star ability, 4-star potential. He's a very versatile player in a number of positions. What I don't get is why we've signed him on top of Torre and on top of Cash. But certainly long term, a good option for this club. A good player and one we look forward to seeing develop. We've got a bit of work to do off the pitch to turn him into a great trainer, a great personality. But with experience for Preston, for Vancouver, he's got football under his belt. And I don't think he's going to be the worst signing in the world. A good man to have on the bench as well. Since then, 2 more youngsters have come in. George Bridman on a free transfer. Little bit better this one. 1.5-star ability, 2.5 potential. But not anywhere near there yet. And Tyrone Lee from Reading for £8,000. A young left back with 2-star ability, 4-star potential. But can't tackle, can't cross, and can't do much else technically. Not the best player in the world by my standards. We'll keep an eye on him. We'll see how he does. Not sure why he's in the under-18s there at 20. We'll promote him to the 23s. And we'll just see if he develops. But the director of football has been very busy. The head of youth development, even busier. So I think aside from not getting a striker, which with 3 weeks to go could still be incoming, I'm hoping we'll be able to have a good squad this year. I feel like we're an improved squad. There's still bids getting rejected for Matty Cash. We had one for Max Bird last month and one for Callum Morton early in the window. But there's no sign of a striker coming in. There's a youngster from Barrow who's being looked at, who again, young player they're taking a punt on. But the striker's the only area that's really concerning me. There's massive money if they want to spend on one, but who's going to want to come and sit on the bench? That's the question. There were a few players complaining in the squad who were unhappy, who as a result have been transfer listed by request or by whatever else. So Jesus Medina is one of those. Complained he was getting replaced in the summer, not quite sure why. Ivan Sanchez was transfer listed, hasn't gone anywhere yet. Jensen Weir is loan listed as part of the agreement to be loaned out from his new contract. Something we weren't involved in, of course. And I think that's it from the first team. We've got a few injuries in pre-season. Jason Knight misses out today, Jamie Hansen and Darragh Lenihan. And then Archie Brown and Adam Messina just working their way back to fitness. But a very good squad, a very deep squad aside from up front. Andrew Lobbins come back from loan as a third choice keeper. He's got a bit of ability as well. But I'm pretty happy with where we are. If we get one striker before the end of the window, I think we're sorted. If not, Morgan Whittaker will become our backup striker and we'll push up Archie Brown as a backup winger. That's the alternative plan. But let's go and get into the first game of the season, away to promoted Salford. It's a potential banana skin, isn't it? We've told the boys we want to get in the playoffs. If we have a look at the pre-season preview, we're actually expected to be 8th. We're in and about that playoff place with Brentford, Blackburn, Palace, who have dropped down a bit for some reason, and a couple of others too. And Salford at the moment expected to finish bottom, so hopefully we'll be nearer the top than the other end. So we're going to stick with the same tactic, we're going to pick the lineup, and we'll be back in a moment to run through the 11 for the first day. I'll see you there. So, sort of a blend today. We've gone for pretty much the strongest team. We've obviously got a few injury problems, particularly with Knight, with Lenihan, with a few like that. Messina, who's dropped to the bench as well. But I have tried to bed in a few of the signings without going mad. So where we've got very close choices, so Marshall or Pearson in centre mid to cover for Knight, I've gone for the player who was already at the club. The same at right back for Cash and Torre. However, where there's a clear outstanding better player, Sam Johnston in goal for example, Ben Wilmot or centre half, we've gone for them. So they're the two that will make their debut from the start today. Potentially, Torre and Marshall can add to that from the bench, and Casanova will be outside the squad today. He's the latest addition anyway. Ignore Greenidge there, who's just in to improve his personality, so we look to get him better for the season. But he could potentially feature later on. He's a good wide player, he's a good youngster. But this is the lineup we've gone for. Fairly familiar, but Sam Johnston in goal. Wilmot, the other new boy at centre-half alongside Clark. Samuels in at left-back due to the Messina injury. And Matty Cash over on the right as always. Bielik, Pearson and Bird the midfield three. Knight misses out with injury. Marshall starts from the bench. And in the usual front three, Whittaker, Hall and Morton. There wasn't many problems with them last season. Let's hope it's the same again today. Into the first game of the season against Salford, our strongest 11 available. Let's see if we can get a positive start and a positive result against the side expected to be bottom. Let me know what you think of the transfer work. The director of football has given us a chance, I feel. A little light up front, but the starting 11's good. Let's see if it gets a positive result. Here we go then. Some good players in that Salford team in fairness. Chris Maxwell, Luke O'Neill, Billy Cargill, Josh Vella, Callum Slattery, Elliot Lish, Jack Payne. Lot of experience in there. Paul Mullins on the bench. He's playing in League 2 at the start of the save. So it's very interesting to see how these guys are getting on. Jacopol's motivated as we tell the boys to do their best. Now let's see if we can get on the front foot. We'll bring up the Salford formation. It's not the tense final day anymore. As Bird puts a corner in, Morton loses out. A very strong start in the first 5. Bielik down the line to Hall. Can we get that early goal? Hall to the byline. Tries to cut it back. And it's blocked as far as Pearson. I think what we're looking for this season is the same potency going forward, which early on looks good, as Pearson's got it wide again, into Hall. We want to improve the defence though, as Max Bird gets on the end of the cross, has had an absolutely blistering pre-season, and he starts this one on fire. Salford 0, Derby 1, 6 minutes on the clock, and Hall sets it up yet again, Max Bird flying from midfield. And if we can improve our defensive performances this season, promotion is a very real possibility. I feel like we've got a great squad. We've just got to avoid an injury to the key front three. And if we can do that, sky's the limit. It really is. We're back with 10 minutes to the break, and it's another corner kick with Max Bird. Morton heads it against the post. It drops down and Whittaker is there. They're fighting to get goals. They're competing with each other. And Whittaker gets the first blood this season. 2-0 to Derby, set pieces rolling. And we're coming forward again with Matty Cash. Now, I don't want to get too excited, because there were plenty of times last season we went 3-0 up and gave away 2. But we've gone 3-0 up again now. Jacob crosses, Whittaker on his right foot. And he puts it into that gap at the near post. And I tell you what, for as good as we've been in this half, and as much as they may come back, Salford look like they're going to have a hard season here. They're certainly not a very good side at this level compared to some we faced. They're a bit like when we were managing them in FM20. Although Whittaker's picked up a knock again. We'll get him through to half-time and take him off. Morton chases the long ball but can't get there. Benham picks it up in the middle, out to List. Samuels intercepts for Bird. It is relentless pressure, relentless pressing as Pearson comes forward again. Morton can't get there, he was offside. Hornstrup gets it back to his keeper and it's cleared long downfield for Payne. A chance perhaps for the host to Byrne. Up to Payne again, he's got time on the ball. Byrne shoots from distance. It's an optimistic effort from there, and if that's all we're limiting them to, no shots on target, we can be very happy with our half's work. 3-0 to Derby, a dominant display. Again, a worry with injuries to the attacking stars. But what it does mean today is someone else gets a chance. Arvin Appiah will come off the bench, I think. He's going to replace Whittaker, who will be upset because he's on a hat-trick, but he's done as well as he can. I will try and get the new signings on, because Jacob Hall, what's happened to him? He's got a bruised foot. What's going on with this front three? That's the thing that concerns me. They're so injury prone, and if 2 of them are missing for 3 or 4 games, we end up in trouble. So my question is, do I bring on the young Archie Brown, or do I push Cass forward and give Toure his debut? I think we're going to leave the back 4, so I'll put Archie Brown on the left wing. Appiah switches to the right. 50 minutes on the clock, 2 injuries to the front 3, but a brilliant display. 3-0 ahead, and it's been a comfortable day at the office. But it is a free kick for Salford, and we've mentioned how often we like to throw 3-goal leads into 3-2 and a tight game. As the ball's into the back post, Vela volleys in. And it's exactly the same pattern as every other season. Every other game with Derby, we went 3-0 up, came back to 3-2. And set pieces, often the kryptonite. But we've got a chance to make it 4 at this end with Bird's corner. Into the back post, brilliant delivery again. Morton loses out. Clark will chase it, but List gets there first. We don't want to concede a second. What on earth is happening defensively? No one's closed him down. List gets into the box. Thankfully puts it into the side netting. It's so frustrating. It's such a common theme with this team. It can't be a coincidence. As Wilmot gets it at the back to Cash. 2 changes in the back 5 hasn't made a difference this season so far. As Pearson picks it up to Appiah. It's got Cash overlapping on the right. Appiah goes alone though. Eventually goes back to Cash into Archie Brown. And his header's just over the bar. We're going to replace Pearson with Joey Marshall for his debut in midfield. And hopefully we'll see this one out comfortably. It doesn't look it at the moment though. Mullin picks it up, coming off the striker position. Into the box second time. Crosses early, good block Wilmot. Brings it away for Appiah. To Marshall, to Bielik. Appiah again. Can we get out from there? Why are we playing so defensively here? Appiah brings it again. Still in our own defensive third. Bielik eventually comes forward with it. Time on the ball, switches to Brown, it's awful. List intercepts. This second half has given me so many concerns. Byrne finds List, it could be 3-2 at this rate. List going through, finds Mullin, it's hit the crossbar. It should have been 3-2. Awful from Derby in this second period. And where on earth has this performance come from? We're going to demand more, we'll try and get into them. But the second half leaves the same questions as last year. Have we got the defensive discipline? As Matty Cash finds Max Bird. We'd love to get a 4th here just to wrap this game up. Appiah again to Cash. Appiah's through ball blocked. Cash finds Morton. Has to score. Oh, straight at Maxwell. Not the best start to the season from Morton. He had that really poor game in the playoff semi-final second leg. And now he's got a chance to get a goal as Bird's corner's cleared away. Clark will recycle it. 30 yards out. Forced backwards, but we'll take it. And for all of Salford's dominance in the second half, they've only had 1 shot on target. That was the goal. So not too many alarming signs now. And we're into 4 minutes of stoppage time, 2 of which have been played. Johnston's going to pick the ball up in goal. And can we spring a counter? Can we nick a 4th? Can we get Callum Morton off the mark, more importantly? Johnston's long kick finds Morton. Beats the defender. He's in 1-on-1. Hits the keeper with a shot. Either side, it's a goal. but he can't do it, and he's picked it up on the left wing. Still a minute of stoppage time left. The switch is headed away to Marshall. Finds Appiah. Made a bit of an impact since coming on. Goes out wide to Matty Cash. Chance to cross from the byline. He's got Appiah inside. Instead tries to cross. It's blocked away and is cleared downfield towards Clark. He falls Archie Brown. Good header forward. Bird's got into the box. Can't quite keep it in. Just over hit. But the idea was lovely. 94 minutes up. Just 15 seconds of stoppage time to go. And it looks like we're going to start with a comfortable win. Wilmot, the new signing, wins the header. It's a little bit of pinball in the middle there. Byrne finds Vella out to Hornstrup. We don't want to concede a second. Hornstrup into the box. Cash brings him down, but gets away with it. Appiah there. Clears long downfield. The final whistle goes. And after a much more alarming second half, after a very strong start, it finishes Salford City 1, Derby County 3. 3 points on the board after a good summer in the window. But those two injuries in attacking areas prove we still need another signing up there. Jonathan Lecco's gone. Who's going to replace him? Hopefully, by the next episode, we'll have the answer. I guess a few positives to come out of that game is now we've got a return from injury for Jason Knight. Whittaker's injury is only 1 to 2 days, and Hall, it doesn't look like, has any long-lasting effects. So a good start to the season. Looks like Norwich are going to be the toughest team to beat this season. A comprehensive win to start the year. And we have got a big season on our hands. A big end to the window for our director of football. A very jam-packed August, may I say. And we will be back for either the last game of the month or the first game of the next one. Who was better out of Reading and Middlesbrough last year? Let's go and have a quick look. Oh, so Reading was 7th, 1 point behind us last year. So that's the next episode. Reading away from home, the final game of August. And 2 days after it, transfer deadline day. Fingers crossed a striker or an attacking flair player by then. We'll of course find out next time around. But if you want to stay up to date and you did enjoy this episode, please do put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily content from 2 long-term stories. A massive, massive episode coming from Bangor City in the Builder Nation tomorrow. And then we'll be back in 2 days' time for a transfer deadline day special with Derby. You can catch up with all the other playlists in the eye above and turn that notification bell on to find out every time we're going live. There's also a link to the podcast channel up there as well. Loads of championship content, a few interviews with former Derby players and manager specials from the EFL, which seem to be coming thick and fast at the moment. A massive thank you for watching though, your continued support into a new season, and I'll see you next time for the Transfer Bonanza.